You want to uncouple anything that's personal and business, and you want to separate them both. Hey everyone, welcome back to our series on how to self-manage rental properties 101. I'm Dave Hathaway, owner of Hathaway Property Management. I own a 50-unit portfolio and use systems and processes to scale the business, reduce stress, and be more hands-off. I'm here to show you how we do it and how you can too. Let's get into it. Before we go deep into this episode, I want to talk about the phrase, run things like a business. This phrase is very generic and I hear it tossed around a lot, but what does it actually mean? How can it benefit us? The main takeaway that I get from this is that you want to uncouple anything that's personal and business, and you want to separate them both. It's going to allow your company to be more plug and play. That means that you can remove yourself and it's more simplistic than commingled with a lot of your personal stuff. So with that being said, let's get into this episode. Best practice number 1 is separate your business checking savings account. We recommend using a major bank. We personally utilize Navy Federal Credit Union, but you can utilize Wells Fargo or Bank of America. They all have these features like ACH transfer, wire transfer, auto bill pay. These are things that you're gonna use that are gonna make business easy for you. By separating your business and your personal account, it's gonna be much easier for your bookkeeper to keep track of. Just overall tracking of expenses, the organization of expenses is gonna be much easier. Number 2 best practice is tracking your expenses and maintenance. So we're gonna harp on this again, a naming convention. But in essence, you want to save those in the exact same format every time. When you get invoices from different vendors, from different contractors, they're all gonna come in different forms, whether they have price on them, whether they have dates on them. You wanna condense them down, saving them in the same exact form, and then we save them all in a folder each month. All the January ones are in a January folder, all the February ones are in a February folder, and then we save those folders under the year. So it's really easy to come back and find them if we need to find them or if the bookkeeper needs to find them. It's the format that you want to use for whatever, if it's invoices, if it's something else, you want to use the format that makes it easiest for who uses the item. Best practice number 3, pay vendors and contractors after you receive an invoice. So this sounds very simple. It's like, oh, why is this even a best practice? What ends up happening is a contractor or a vendor will say, hey, this is how much it is. Can you pay me? You end up paying out the contractor, paying out the vendor for whatever it is, the expense, and then they never send you an invoice. So what ends up happening is the bookkeeper actually doesn't know what property that goes to, what it's from, and either it's gonna be more frustration for you or more frustration for your bookkeeper. So best practice here is I always tell all vendors, hey, we pay out after we receive an invoice. Best practice number 4 is use the profit first accounting system. In essence, this is just a simplistic way to allocate your revenues into different percentages, different buckets. In a very brief overview of the profit first system, you create 5 different savings or checking accounts. You allocate different things to each one of those accounts. So one of them is gonna be taxes, one of them is going to be profit, one of them is going to be all revenue, one of them is going to be operational expenses, and one of them is going to be owner's pay. Most of us, when we start a business, the intention is to not be a nonprofit, it's to make money. So profit first allows us to not only understand where our money's going, but to pay us first. It also allows us to avoid the reinvesting everything or all of our profits right back into the business so we never see any of the money, which I find is a common mistake, and I found very comforting once I started utilizing the system in our business. Best practice number 5 is utilize QuickBooks Online. You can utilize several different accounting systems, whether it's your property management portal. We use Buildium, other people use Appfolio or Yardi, but QuickBooks is the best of the best when it comes to tracking expenses and doing your books. Also, most bookkeepers are used to or trained on QuickBooks Online. How does using QuickBooks Online benefited us. It allows us easily to track our expenses. It syncs with our bank accounts to make things even easier. We can easily file taxes at the end of the year. It allows us to create profit and loss statements for banks for financing. And it automatically allows us to distribute 1099s out to vendors and contractors. Overall, it just makes business easier and bookkeepers like it. Lastly, if you're still watching this video and you found any of the content valuable, we want to thank you. We want to ask you to smash the like button and like the channel, as this allows us to help more people looking to self-manage their own investment or rental properties. I'll see you on the next episode of Self-Managing Rental Properties 101.